and initiative to get yourself started in a new activity, but it takes far, far less to keep yourself doing it once you've started. There's another reason once a day is better than 7 times once a week. The daily rhythm of the thing starts to change you. It becomes part of your routine, and as it does, it becomes part of who you are. That doesn't happen with a once-in-a-while all-out effort. Chapter 9. Mastering Yourself. The greatest gift you could ever give yourself is also the wisest business investment you could ever make. It is also the most critical step in accomplishing any challenging task, and is the one step without which all other success strategies, no matter how brilliant or time-tested, are doomed to fail. What is this mysterious gift? It is your own personal development. Investing in your own improvement, your own personal growth and betterment, is all these things and more. Abraham Lincoln said, "Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree, and I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe." In other words, he would spend twice as much time working on himself as on the task itself. What do most people do? They grab the axe, dull or not, and start wailing away at the tree. And if they aren't making a major dent in that tree pretty soon, they quit and probably mutter something about how it's the tree's fault. How you swing the axe, how hard, in what arc, and with what rhythm on exactly what spot you hit the tree, all these are strategies that concern your actions, and they can all be measured, weighed, and improved. But it starts with the axe itself, and the axe is you. Results come last. It is easy to be seduced by the promise of results. We live in a results-oriented world, a culture that overwhelmingly measures the success of a course of action by its results. Talk is cheap, after all. And what is it that really matters? Results, the bottom line. Show me. Proof of the pudding's in the eating, right? But there is a problem here. There's a flaw in this thinking. In fact, the flaw in this thinking is so profound, 95% of all people's efforts are ending up as failure. And what is so remarkable is that this isn't some deep, hidden, subtle flaw. It's so obvious, everyone ought to see it. But it's so deeply ingrained in our culture, nearly everyone is hypnotized into missing it. Here is the flaw. How can you judge the course of action you're taking by its results when its results come last? In the Sermon on the Mount, Jesus spoke of 2 types of foundation. He spoke about the wise man who built his house upon the rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and burst against that house, and yet it did not fall, for it had been founded upon the rock. And then he told of a second character, the foolish man who built his house on sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and burst against the house, and it fell, and great was its fall. The foundation upon which you are building the house of your life is what will determine the nature of the house itself. Will the house stand? Will it fall apart? Will it leak? Or will it withstand whatever weather nature throws at it? What results will your life produce? It is a critically important question, because by the time the results are in, the outcome will already be pretty well determined. You can't wait for your results to judge your actions. You can't wait to see what kind of house you've got before you judge whether or not it had a sturdy foundation. Your success will always be the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Your philosophy comes first. Your results come last. And this brings us to the most important slight edge strategy of all. Chapter 10. Turning your dreams into reality. While everyone has a somewhat different approach to goal setting, there are 4 simple and fundamental steps you need to take for your dreams to turn into reality. Everyone who has ever created success, whether consciously or not, whether using this specific language or not, has gone through these 4 steps. They are the 4 universal truths of reaching for a big dream. For a goal to come true, first, you must write it down, make it specific, and give it a deadline. Next, you must look at it every day. You must understand and pay the price. And last, you must have a plan to start with. Step 1. Write it down. The most critical skill of achieving success in any area whatsoever, from sports to high finance, radiant health to fulfilling relationships, is the skill of envisioning. Envisioning something simply means having the ability to create a vivid picture of something that hasn't factually happened yet, and make that picture so vivid that it feels real. Envisioning doesn't happen simply by creating a picture in your mind. If your dreams and aspirations are happening in your mind only, that's not envisioning, that's wishful thinking. It's like saying, "I'll give it a try," which, as Yoda pointed out, really doesn't cut it when he said, "Do or not do. There is no try." Envisioning means quite literally making something up out of thin air and making it real. By definition, you can't do that within the confines of your skull. It needs to become physical. It needs to involve your senses. In other words, you need to write it down. Making pictures of it, which people sometimes call a dream board, is even better. Speaking out loud is most powerful of all. But at the very least, write it down. The moment you do, it has started to become real. What do you dream about? Pick a dream you have, any dream. Your dream house, your dream car, dream vacation, dream job, dream marriage, dream career. If you're hesitating, know this. These dreams may be as huge or as small as you like. Neither is better or more or less worthy to make real. Right now, push pause on your player, pick up a pen, and write down 5 dreams, pressing restart when you finish. Good. Now, add 2 descriptors that will make your dream more concrete. What and when. First, go back to each dream and add whatever wording you need to make each dream absolutely specific. For example, if you had a dream to be financially free, what does that mean specifically? How much money do you need in the bank or investments or coming in as annual income to achieve what you call financial freedom? If there are other conditions that need to be met, such as being completely debt-free, add those in too. What if one of your dreams is radiant health? How would you make that specific? One way would be to describe exactly how you feel, what kinds of activities you engage in, and what they feel like. Imagine reading your dream to someone you care about, and that person saying, "I'm not quite sure I grasp what you mean. Can you tell me exactly what you're shooting for?" So again, press pause and add specifics to the dreams you wrote down, pressing restart when you're done. Now, the second descriptor, when. It's often been said, goals are dreams with deadlines. Let's reshape your dreams into goals by giving them deadlines. Go back through each dream and answer the question, by when? You've probably heard of the Pareto principle, known more popularly as the 80-20 rule, which says that, for instance, 20% of the people in a sales force produce 80% of the results. Here's another application of Pareto's law. 80% of everything you do tends to get done in the last 20% of the time available. If you don't create a concrete deadline, that last 20% never seems to arrive, and you're always living in the 80% time that says, someday. So again, press pause and add the when to the dreams you wrote down, pressing restart when you're done. When you write your dreams down, when you've made them vivid and specific, when you've given them a concrete timeline for realization, then you've taken a giant step towards making them real. Step 2. Look at it every day. The single most compelling reason for writing down your dreams is so you can look at them and read them every day. The reason you need to look at them every day is the same reason you need to keep yourself in the company of positive people. You need to counteract the force of gravity, or, to put a different name to it, the force of mediocrity. Remember, it's 19-1, and you need to constantly remind your brain where you're headed or you'll drift away. If you don't keep yourself constantly, repeatedly focused on your destination, you'll be like a rocket ship without a gyroscope. You'll simply drift off gradually into the outer space of failure, never even coming remotely close to reaching the moon. Surround yourself with it. Keep your awareness in your face. Look at it every single day. Your brain is far more complex and powerful than the biggest computer in the world, and your own subconscious is by far the biggest distraction you have. Having your dreams concretely spelled out on paper in the most vivid and specific terms possible, and with a very tangible, concrete timeline, provides you with an environment of yes for your goals, dreams, and aspirations. And when that 19-to-1 force of gravity starts leaking from our subconscious and says, yeah, but are they really? We need to respond, yes, 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 yes. Here is the amazing thing, and I've seen this happen so many times, yet it never ceases to fill me with awe. When you set your goals, life has a way of rearranging itself. A series of events starts in motion that you could have never predicted or planned to get you there. If you just sit there and try to figure it out, it doesn't happen. But when you surround yourself with your goals, your subconscious brain goes to work on it. And if you have the right philosophy, the philosophy of the slight edge, then you will come up with the right actions and keep repeating those actions. And a series of events will kick in, including circumstances you could have never dreamed of that will take you to that goal. Step 3. Know and pay the price. Aha! There's the catch. I knew it. Here comes the big sacrifice. So what will I have to do? Throw away my television? Say goodbye to all fun and forgo all my favorite foods? Give up a kidney? Chances are it's not quite that dramatic. Like anything else, when it comes to goals, we tend to see things like they're on the big screen, but they're not. Though your dreams may be big, in fact I hope they're huge, remember that the steps you're taking to get there are, what, huge? No, small, tiny baby steps, easy to do. The price you pay works the same way. You don't have to pay for your $1 million dream with a $1 million personal check. You can pay for it, well, with a penny a day. But you do need to understand what that penny is, and you do need to pay it. Whatever the dream, whatever the goal, there's a price you'll need to pay, and that means something you'll need to give up. It may be something as simple as giving up a type of junk food you're attached to, for the sake of your health, or something as subtle as giving up your right to be right, or your habit of exerting control over conversation for the sake of repairing and saving a relationship. It may mean postponing certain purchases or acquisitions, often called delayed gratification, or letting go of some pleasures for the sake of the pursuit of a long-term aim. At a certain point in my life, when I'd suffered some huge setbacks and lost everything I had, I came to a critical point of decision. I'd been an athlete all my life, and at this point I'd become a part of a softball team. We were serious, and we got pretty good. Before long, we were traveling and winning tournaments all over the place. Then I hit a point where I knew I had to get my career back on track. It was time to pick up the pieces, regroup, and move on. I also knew I couldn't do this without changing something. I had to pay a price. It was a difficult choice, but I walked away from our softball team. My friends couldn't believe it. "You're quitting?" And I said, "Hey, you guys, you're still my friends. I love you, but get another outfielder." They're all still on that team today, still winning tournaments, and I took the same time and invested it elsewhere. I had to plant and cultivate in a different field. Remember, there aren't many millionaires who bowl over 100. Why not? Because they left the bowling league behind to build their fortunes. Is that too large a price to pay is a question only you can answer. Remember this, whatever price you pay, there's a bigger price to pay for not doing it than the price for doing it. The price of neglect is much worse than the price of discipline. It may take a few years to put your success on track, but it takes your entire life to fail. Step 4. Start with a plan. This is the point where people are often thrown off track. The point is not to come up with the brilliant blueprint that will take you all the way to the finish line. The point is simply to come up with a plan that will get you out of the starting gate. You have to start with a plan, but the plan you start with will not be the plan that gets you there. What? That makes no sense at all. If this plan isn't going to get me to my goal, why bother designing it? What's the point? Aren't I just fooling myself with a pointless plan? People make the mistake of thinking they need the perfect plan. There is no perfect plan. By definition, there can't be, because a plan is not getting there. It's only your jumping off point.